certainly going forward. Well, in the meantime, does the rest of the party do anything special?
Well, as I kind of like message there, Erevan will talk to everyone, ask Arenoss if he still has the imp floating on his shoulder.
Yes, Garrett is still there.
We'll ask Alvyn if he's planning to set up any more of those traps, kind of with a worried voice. As he says that.
Well, unless you have a better idea to ensure our security in our room, maybe.
Make it simpler.
Alvyn thinks. And he doesn't seem to come back from his thinking.
To fire a crossbow.
Lost in thought.
To fire a crossbow, does it really take that many ropes?
It only takes one string, I would think.
I can give him maybe two, but...
Well, if you
I
just
guess
tie...
I could try.
If you tie one string to the window and then to a bottle, if anyone opens the window, the bottle will fall down on the ground and shatter, and you will hear it then.
But clearly, Alvyn was not satisfied with just that before.
Of course, but
apparently he wanted a weapon.
That turned out.
Apparently he wanted a weapon as well to go with it.
I guess I could try simpler, and Alvyn definitely sounds disappointed.
Let's put it this way: if it's
not a fan
simpler,
of simple.
If it's simpler, the chances are Roldar won't accidentally set it off, and as a result, you might actually get to see it work on an actual bad guy.
Exactly. And did you check your stuff this morning, by the way? I assume you didn't have an alarm system up this night.
No. So everyone will actually check his stuff. Jonas? The DM is dead.
I was muted. Going through the stuff, Erevan can quickly surmise that nothing seems to be missing.
Okay. Yeah, Evan just shake his head after looking through. I can't see anything missing. Check his mirror. Check if any more of his hair's been stolen.
Well, he checks more things. But nope, nothing seems to be missing indeed.
Everyone's satisfied. He'll put his mirror back in his bag.
Well, that's
so
good.
Clearly the broken mirror scared the intruder, and so my trap worked in the end after all.
Or maybe he just didn't decide to come tonight.
Alvyn frowns. He likes his explanation better.
What's that over at the table, by the way? Arenoss looking over here.
A candle and some food.
Yes, but no one's sitting there.
I know, it's like that when I came downstairs this morning.
Ah, I see.
It's really strange. I haven't seen anyone here other than you guys and Amigos since I came down.
Arenoss will walk up and have a look at it.
Mako is she is currently removing the things from the table.
Oh. Does Arenoss see anything interesting?
No, it seems like a breakfast meal and a candle.
Oh, okay.
That is now quickly being, cleaned away by a Mako.
Alright, then I will just nod to a Mako and sit back down.
Alright. Well, breakfast being consumed, what does the party do?
Alvyn, as always, waits for a decision to be made.
Well, Erevan feels like he wants to stretch his legs, do some exercise or something. Ask Roldar if he wants to do some training.
Roldar looks at Erevan as if he's stupid.
I'm always ready for training.
Good. Erevan seems quite determined right now.
Arenoss will actually walk up here and sort of ask Amiko. Amiko.
Yes?
That bread that's from the table, did you or Bafana put it there?
Jonas, yes, I did. I thought I mean, you know, trying to catch some more sleep, and Master Erevan usually wakes up so early, so I prepared a breakfast for him, so I could sleep a bit longer. She smiles, but apparently he didn't like it.
Ah, I see. He might have been suspicious of it, maybe. It's not something that usually happens.
Oh. People are not usually nice to him? He smiles.
I don't know, it's just... well, he certainly didn't eat it, and he said that it seemed quite suspicious.
Oh.
Or strange.
Oh. But, well, it wasn't my intention to be strange or suspicious.
No, of course not. And I was just making sure. So, we have been getting some strange happenings recently, and, well, I just had an idea that it might be poisonous.
Oh. she looks a bit perplexed, and she shakes her head. No, at least I didn't poison it. She takes a bite of one of the bread pieces.
No, I know you didn't.
She falls over.
I know you didn't poison it. I was just thinking someone else put it there, and yeah.
Oh.
You know. But then I guess everything is fine. Good.
She smiles. Yes, Mr. Assault.
I guess so.
Outside, you can probably hear the bashing of mine and Roldar's shield.
And Alvyn is just watching.
All right. Well, as the day slowly creeps by, Saloro makes more headway into his research. It seems that the old symbol on the key is actually connected to a what seems to be a local noble family, actually from the Sandpoint Hinterlands or the city of Magnamar itself. The symbol is quite old and has apparently been with the family for quite some time. And flipping through the many pages on nobility and heraldry and such things, Saloro finally finds out which family the crest belongs to. The crest is, as I said, it's old, it's no longer used as such, but it belongs to the family of Foxglove. The family is today not what it once was, apparently. Its glory days were roughly 100 years ago. And they seem to have a bit of a bad reputation, at least in the sort of books and information sources Saloro can dig up. They seem to have sort of old grounds and old areas that the family traditionally owns. These are called the Misgivings. Further studies reveal that on these lands, the Foxgloves built a manor called Foxglove Manor, built roughly 80 years ago by one of the strongest members of the family, Warlord Foxglove, a merchant prince from Magnamar. And it had, up till a couple of decades ago, been the seat of the Foxglove family. The entire family who lived there with Warlord Foxglove died of disease roughly 40 years ago. While it seemed to have remained a family seat, it doesn't seem like anyone has actually lived in it, and it seems that it has since fallen into disrepair. It has a quite bad reputation by the locals, it seems. Strange sightings, lights in attic windows, muffled sounds of what have been described as screaming, etc. And many dark rumors of like bat-winged creatures, or some say even the Sandpoint Devil itself has been theorized to live at or close to the manor. As recently as 2 decades ago, the Foxglove have tried to live again in the manor, so to speak, until a tragedy happened one night. What happens is still something of a mystery, but there was a fire that burned down the servants' quarters and apparently some part of the house. And the current sort of head of family, Trevor Foxglove, died, and his wife, Cyril Foxglove, was also found dead at the cliffs beneath the house. The husband had apparently committed suicide. What happened to Trevor's and Cyrilin's children is, as Saloro can figure out, unknown. He also actually finds a quite curious mention in one of the oldest and most obscure of the books. An odd note that the family of Foxglove has a history of long-standing association of a merchant organization that is only mentioned in the book as the Brotherhood of Seven.
Saloro, for perhaps the past hour, has been subconsciously letting out a quiet hissing sound at the books, which, you know, probably hasn't distracted the old man at all, since he's so lost in his own thought he's not gonna notice. Which case, Saloro then, without looking at the book, will call out loud, "By chance, have you heard of the Brotherhood of Seven?"
The old man blinks. What? A Brotherhood of Seven, he seems to think. No, not... he seems to think again. Maybe, it seems quite familiar.
I'm reading here that the old Foxglove noble family was perhaps a part of this merchant organization, and given the reappearance and reoccurrence of the Sehedron rune, I thought the Brotherhood of Seven held some sort of significance you might have come about in your findings.
He seems to think, interesting. No, I don't know them offhand. I could perhaps look into it further. Brotherhood of Seven. Well, the number is correct, I suppose.
Saloro frowns, stands up from whatever, half-covered desk and sort of like esoteria he had managed to commandeer. Still not having found a replacement for the veil, it's just a dead, cold frown on his face. Brushes off his robes and says, "Well, I believe that takes care of everything there is I needed to do here. Thank you for the use of your library."
The old man waves. Of course, of course.
I did not wish to come calling on you yesterday, but since I am here before I go, this is merely a secondary matter. Have you managed to find anything interesting in that recent delivery of sorts I brought to you for picking?
He seems to do a bit of a grimace. It's nasty reading, most of it. The sorcerer seemed to have sort of waves around. His fascination were with the process of dying and waking up again, as it were. He wanted to study it in minute detail, and these findings are quite morbid. He has watched quite a number of people die on his operating table, it seems.
I figured as much. I had only hoped that perhaps some mention about the ghoul fever, and maybe he had found a quicker means to spread it other than contamination from a ghoul bite, which would have caused so much rampant and wanton destruction out in the hinterlands, but clearly he was just obsessed with death.
He nods. Yes, there are some notes about the ghoul activity here, but he seems interested to know where they come from or where they operate from.
Saloro blinks.
As far as I can tell, he has nothing to do with them.
Oh. Oh. Saloro lets out a little puff of air, flutters his hair a bit. In that case, I think I will be leaving you to your studies, good sir. Enjoy the rest of your night.
The old man nods. And you too, Master Saloro. It's always a pleasure to meet another learned man.
But of course, and a stone-faced Saloro sets out rather quickly from the bookstore and mounts Heinrich and rides for the Rusty Dragon Inn.
I've sent you an information file, Grimith. For basically a collection of what I said.
Oh, okay. Well, I took notes for the children. It'll be fine.
Oh,
I'll read this anyway. I have to take notes so that I can digest the information for them. That gives me some confirmation on how the hell Vorl's name was spelled. That'll work.
So Arenoss will have a conversation with Garrett inside the room.
Sure.
So Garrett, how much do you actually know of me?
Garrett shrugs. Not too much. I have studied you for a short time, and you seemed interesting.
Alright. How long have you followed me?
Seems to think, poof, maybe a week or so.
Ah, I see. So you wouldn't know anything about my family then?
The imp shakes his head. No, not really, Master. Is there something special you wish me to research, perhaps?
No. I was merely thinking if you had knowledge of my past. You might know something interesting about the present, but then it's nothing.
No, Master, I am sorry. As I said, I was drawn to you because of your dragon powers. That is what had me curious.
I see. Alrighty then. Well, I guess we should check what the others are doing.
He nods. Very well, Master. I seem to hear some sort of clangor from outside.
Ah, alright. Maybe... Well, I guess we will see.
Alright.
Well, any sort of individuals who may be outside during Soreasu's trip back through the peaceful little hamlet of Sandpoint will definitely notice that, he is riding with a great, considerable speed, Heinrich getting his exercise out. Just sort of like, the hood's flown back off the hair, the midnight black flutters, it reveals the sort of like, the dark black skin coloration stains covering his neck. Just sort of like this cold, with the pupilless eyes, just sort of stony face as he rides for the Rusty Dragon Inn. Saloro is upset.
Does Arenoss see anything walking outside?
Clang, clang.
I can see the training.
Ah, I see. Arenoss will just stand here and watch then, I guess. Until Saloro comes by.
Right. I would think that the people that were actually outside training would have noticed Saloro. getting rushing past.
Oh yeah,
We've been placing his token right on us.
it ended up having to do that, and you're actually going to end up actually hearing him utter profanities in the primordial tongue, or at least they sound like very strong words.
I was curious about this.
Roldar will stop mid-swing and just sort of turn his head and just goes,
Oh, there he goes again.
I have a feeling we might want to talk to him.
Well, if you see a scarecrow, be careful. Might have a sight around his neck.
It's fine, Roldar. I know how to deal with that scarecrow, at least somewhat.
A visibly sort of angry Saloro will dismount from Heinrich, not even bothering to tether him or properly tend to him, and sort of wheel around and like, oh, there's the party. It's kind of like, I was just about to get you guys, like, oh, hey, you're there. Well, god damn it, if only life could always be this convenient. I want a chocolate sundae. Damn it.
Well, Saloro, you did ride between our shots when we were practicing.
Right, you know. Saloro, looks back at he immediately begins his rapid explanation. Only it's in primordial. He goes to like a sentence like rapidly shakes his head, waves his hand.
Saloro, we can't understand you.
Roldar just totally bemused.
You're speaking in the wrong tongue.
I knew there was something wrong with the boy the moment I saw him. I thought his obsessiveness and his crude demeanor to be repugnant and suspicious, and lo and behold, what do you know? Your lordship truly is...
So, Roldar curiously looks at if Saloro's talking about Arenoss.
Your lordship? Who?
Yes, and Saloro will actually pull from the folds of his robe the key and toss it towards Arenoss. Yes, your lordship is the train outside my house. Saloro gestures behind the stable. a series of railroads has been, cut in the swath where Heinrich rode past.
Suddenly a plane shift opens and train comes out.
Roldar.
That's his new utility spell.
Summon Ghost Train.
So it says, those are the railroads we must ride for the DM's narrative to fully take hold upon us. Let us go forth!
Very well.
I think this is a small train. Sounds like one anyway. So I will say, yes, your lordship. As it turns out, through my careful study of the esoteria, I had thought the symbol had seemed familiar, and sure enough, it is what I thought. I do believe I know the gentleman or perhaps family responsible for this entire state of affairs, but I will naturally preface this by saying that the necromancer Kaisar Luzeren, whom we accosted and killed within Habe Sanatorium, actually played no role at all in the creating of these ghouls. Rather, he was actually within the hinterlands because he saw this development of great interest and he wished to learn more about it.
I already guessed he was not the cause of this, but who do you think the cause of this was?
So are you saying it's someone we know that has done this?
There is no think about it. The symbol in question is part of the heraldry of the Foxglove merchant family. You will undoubtedly, of course, recall the noble sort who actually provided you all with your horses, Alden Foxglove, who wished to take us on a sporting boar hunt.
Erevan's eyes are, flashing blue, going through the memories. Your noses have kind of got annoyed. His facial expression's gone very, slightly angry.
Now, of course, there is a sliver of a possibility that if the key were planted by your lordship, undoubtedly expecting us to defeat the ghoul servitors down there on the farmstead and locate it, but I would not think so, although it stands to reason that Alden may actually wish for us to find him. It seems that whenever he had initially taken a shining to you, Erevan, that shining was far more vast than had been initially suspected. I had thought it suspicious, but more of an overbearing, sort of meek merchant noble type, just trying to vainly seek any sort of sense of adventure, as if what we were doing was actually... Saloro loses train of thought, mutters a few other words, and now switching from primordial to something that mind flayers would say. Because you all have totally met mind flayers, right? You guys totally know what dark speech sounds like.
Of course, because because you have the most obscure languages possible.
Yes. Gotta make use out of them to confuse the party.
I mean, it's a very tiny chance Erevan might have heard one of these two languages over his 200 years, but he wouldn't know anything about them.
That's right. Because you know how prevalent the mind flayers are in today's society.
Oh yeah, of course, they're everywhere, right? You can't go out to the local shop without seeing one.
Saloro stops himself. So yes, the seat of power which he might be possessing is actually located within the southern hinterlands itself. If you will excuse me, Saloro will reach into a rucksack located on Heinrich and retrieve from it a map of the hinterlands. Now, if you take a look right here, you will see that down there, not that far from the farmstead, is the Foxglove River, and heading out into Sog's Bay, you will actually see the Foxglove Manor, which apparently has been abandoned for some years after a most curious string of coincidental events, because coincidences never speak to a greater evil or threat, and the region, known as the Misgivings, is said by locals to be haunted, with strange apparitions and lights in the night.
Well, I guess we know where we should head off next then.
Erevan's face is just very quickly over time becoming more and more annoyed looking. They're clearly not aimed at any of you.
And my research and what I learned also reveals that this Foxglove family may have connections with the Sahedrin rune.
The final piece of the puzzle.
Yes.
So, my recommendation is that we ride out immediately, unless there is urgent business we must attend to here. We go now. This, whether we like it or not, has been in part sparked by our mere presence here, this obsessive foxglove, and it is something we will have to deal with because, quite frankly, no one else here can.
We may want to tell the sheriff or someone else that we're going first, but yeah, we should head off straight away.
Saloro frowns, says,
I
perhaps so, otherwise they might try to come looking
panic
for us. Yes.
I'll go and do so. I'll meet up with you.
Maybe, can't you just leave a message here, perhaps? Maybe leave it with Mako, or, maybe Bathana can make a quick run. Saloro trails off. I rather don't think we should waste any more time than necessary.
No, some of the things he's done are unforgivable. We're leaving immediately.
Arenoss rushes up to Miko.
She looks quite alarmed when Arenoss rushes up to her. What's wrong?
We may have found out what has been causing this, and we're heading off straight away to the old, let's see what it's called, the Foxglove Manor.
Foxglove Manor, but it has been abandoned for years.
Yes, and but we have suspicions that whatever is causing this may be over there. If you could tell the sheriff for us, we need to head off straight away, so no more people get hurt.
She nods. Of course. I will tell him. I will tell him myself immediately.
Good. I see you later, and take care.
Good luck.
I'll actually say to Roldar as I'm saddling up Webb. Remember how Alvyn wanted to have a training session, which we were too busy to be able to actually do for him. Well, I think if he is responsible for this, let's give him a training session he'll never forget.
Roldar nods.
Yes.